A Clockwork Orange, directed by Stanley Kubrick, is based off the novel of the same name written by Anthony Burgess. The novel depicts a dystopian society in which drugs and violence run rampant within its youth. The novel and movie is meant for a mature adult audience. It deals with graphic content and poses very thought-provoking questions. The story begins with Alex DeLarge, the main protagonist of the story, and his gang of droogs in the Korova Milk Bar. Because drugs are legal, Alex and his gang frequent here often to get high and prepare for a night of the old ultra-violence. The group sets off and finds its first victim of the night, a drunk, singing homeless man who they beat unconscious. Once finished, the group re-embarks on its night of anarchy and runs across a rival gang leader named Billy Boy. A gang fight quickly ensues after a few harsh words are exchanged. The gangs use weapons including chairs, knives, chains, and anything else they can find. After hearing the police have been called, Alex and his gang steal a Durango 95 and escape down the country roads. They arrive at a cottage with the sign "Home" at the entrance and decide to try and get in. Using his cunning and gentleman manner, Alex gains entry into the house by lying to the homeowners that his friend has been in a terrible accident. Once inside, the gang proceeds to destroy the home and savagely beat the husband. They then decide to rape the woman and force her husband to watch. The group decides to end the night by returning to the Korova Milk Bar to drink some of the old knived Moloko. When they arrive, Alex begins listening to a woman singing nearby. Being particularly sensitive about classical music, he is furious when his friend Dim interrupts. The two argue and decide to go separate ways, with Dim claiming he no longer wishes to be Alex's brother. A few days later, the following scene occurs. The music playing in the background is from Alex's favorite composer, Beethoven. Also notice, this song is from the same symphony as the one the woman was singing in the Korova Milk Bar when Alex and Dim had their fight. The director decided to shoot this scene in a long shot. This is to capture the entire setting of the scene. Notice how there is graffiti and trash all over the apartment complex. This is proof of a subculture and a representation of the world's disorganization.
To what do I owe the extreme pleasure of this surprise?
Notice the tension in the room when Alex arrives. This truly accounts for his dominating personality, and even that his friends are somewhat scared of him.
There we were, waiting and drinking away at the old night in Morocco, and you had not turned up. And we thought you might have been, like, offended by something or other. So round we come to your abode.
Alex is played by Malcolm McDowell. McDowell is known for his villainous and sometimes boisterous roles. Alex being both of these, the two complement each other quite well. At this point in the scene, we can now see that Georgie and Dim are completely against Alex's leadership. They question it, and this infuriates Alex. It is shot from a ground view to show their opposing force, as well as they are now the majority in the gang. At this point, Alex can tell that Georgie and Dim are both unhappy under his leadership. He decides to confront them fully and get up in their faces, therefore asserting his dominant personality. We can see Alex is sitting on top of Dim at this point. The camera angle is in a position so that you can clearly see that Alex is looking down on Dim and therefore asserting superiority.
As I am your Drugan leader, I'm excited to know what goes on.
While Dim looks anxious and nervous, we can clearly see that Georgie's facial expression does not change. This is to show that even though Alex is trying to assert his dominance, Georgie is unfazed. Alex and Georgie are now in a power struggle. It is evident Alex is worried about losing his position to Georgie, as the rest of the gang seems to agree with his ideas.
What's this about a new way? It's been some very large.
Alex becomes more confrontational as a result. He begins to accuse his friends of talking behind his back and to say it to his face.
We go around shop cresting them.
The director does a close shot of Georgie's face as well as Dim's. This is done to once again contrast the stern expression of Georgie's face and his desire to kick Alex out, and Dim simply being controlled out of fear.
The big money's available is what will the English say.
Big money. And what will you do with
Alex decides to listen to Georgie's plan and actually believes it's a good one. He just hates that it's Georgie the one that came up with it.
If you need pretty Polly, you take it.
Brother, you think until...
Even though Alex agrees to go along with Georgie's plan, he is half sarcastic in his answer. This foreshadows the future of the film and gives insight into what Alex is thinking.
Initiative comes to them that way. I've taught you much, my little droogies.
Georgie and Dim are now excited as it seems the power struggle is over with Alex in agreement. Georgie has asserted himself as the new leader and now controls the gang. The fight scene in the movie is quite different from the one in the novel. The setting has completely changed. Originally they fought in a courtyard in the nighttime. The movie seemed to cut it short, but also provide some kind of comic relief to the story.
Saying what we should do and what not to do, and Dim as his mindless, grinning bulldog. But suddenly I vidded that thinking was for the gloopy ones.
At this point, Alex is tired of Georgie's leadership. He begins to plan how to reacquire his power and decides the use of force and instillment of fear will put him back into place.
There was a window open with a stereo on, and I vidded right at once what to do.
The fight itself is also quite different. In the novel, Alex fights his friends one-on-one. He also deals quite serious damage as compared to the movie. I don't believe this scene was done better than the novel. The novel shows the extent Alex will go to maintain power. However, the comic relief was nice for such a serious film.